Yeah, you're right. You're right. All right, sick. All right, team. We got T-minus 1 minute for our very first podcast. For all you beautiful ladies and gentlemen tuning in, this is our very first podcast for our Hackley Senior Project. We've got the illustrious Coach Patierno here. Well, not here, but he's coming. I hope if he can figure out how to get on. I have hope for him though. He says he's used Zoom before, so we're good. He's a smart guy, dude. You know he has 2 degrees. That's what we're gonna talk about too, right?
We can talk about whatever.
No, I'm saying he has 2 degrees. He has a degree in European history and one in just being a handsome Aki feller.
No, one is in like nutrition. There.
Oh, there he is.
What's up, gentlemen?
How are you doing?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Oh yeah.
We're good. Perfect. How you doing, man?
Now, why aren't you dressed? I assume you were gonna be dressed like me.
Okay, I'll be honest with you. I think my mom threw out my bald cap because she thought it was disgusting.
Well,
it was just collecting dust.
Actually, just Paterno's scalp. She thought.
So you guys been okay?
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. I mean, you know, as good as anyone can be right now.
Now, Gabe, you've been working on. I know the Ox been training this whole time.
Yeah, I have like some solid weights at home. I have a bench press and some dumbbells. So
nice. And you've been doing a program?
Yeah, just like the same stuff that we'd been doing at Hackley, because I have like resistance bands and all that, so I can pretty much do like the same workouts, just higher reps, less weight.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I've been seeing a lot of them kettlebells together.
Have you?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I haven't seen Flanagan in so long. We're hoping to get him on, but he's a busy man. I also emailed him because I did. Oh yeah. Before we start the interview, I just want to tell you, Paterno, I finished my theory essay. You know, remember I was telling you about it? Yeah, I shared it with Mr. Flanagan. I emailed him. I was like, hey, I know you were like, you know, want to read it, just kind of, you know, just understand what I was talking about. Never responded. I got a notification from Gmail. It was like, you sent this email a week ago. Would you like to follow up? I was like, there's no point.
That's awesome. You guys know about colleges yet?
Yep.
We do, actually. I'm going to Catholic University of America.
In D.C.?
In D.C., yeah.
Excellent.
I'm going to Tufts in Boston.
Oh, nice. You excited?
Yeah. Not to root for any Boston team, but.
Yeah. And how's school been online?
Next question, please.
Oh yeah, my God, yeah.
I like barely roll out of bed in time to Zoom call into my classes.
I'm in my room all day. It's just not that comfortable, if I'm being honest.
Actually, today joined our calculus review session while laying down.
Who did that?
Me. I was like, I was literally sleeping, and then my alarm went off, and I was like, oh shoot. I just joined it from my phone and was trying to listen, but I think I fell asleep.
Okay, so how many interviews have you guys done for your podcast?
Oh, this is our very first one, so if anything goes wrong, we're blaming you. It's all your fault. It's all your fault.
And where was the theme music? I thought you promised me theme music.
All right, so we can't play it because of copyright, but I can play this part for you.
You say something. I say sabotage. 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 Don't say something. I say sabotage. Sabotage.
Wait, I thought it was a song, Sean.
I can't play that part.
Oh.
Is that copywritten, that song?
Yeah, dude, it's got like the song on YouTube has like 1,000 views. So if we get copyrighted for that, that's BS. Because there's no way, like, you know what I mean?
Our podcast is gonna have more views than the song.
I think you're the one who watched all 1,000 views of that.
Yeah, no, what do you mean? It's you. I play it like 5 times. Every time I walk in the weight room, it goes, hey, Sean, can you play that song I like, the Sabotage one?
What is it even from?
It's a Beastie Boys song, Sabotage, but Paterno loves the way that William Shatner says sabotage. Also, I saw something the other day. He doesn't say awesome. He says assome. It's the funniest thing.
That's awesome. Okay, so I'm ready for my interview.
All right, so I'm
okay.
introduced. Actually, I'm gonna put a fan in real quick. You can. It's hot in my room.
Dude, it's like 40 degrees in my room.
Oh, it's hot in here.
All right, great. Paterno, he's gone. Do you actually like Gabe? Not kidding. Don't answer it. Don't answer it.
Question number one of the interview. That's awesome.
Okay.
Hey, so when you done with school?
All right.
When are we done?
Yeah.
I think we're done. I'm done May 22nd because that's when my AP is done, and that's also the time senior projects are over with.
That sucks. I have like an early AP, so I finish next Tuesday.
Yeah, I know. All right, you want to get right back into it then? All right, so
Go for it.
one of the kind of the themes, I guess, for our podcast interview podcast is also going to be called the Ockcast. I hope you know.
It's only fitting that we have it starting off with the head off.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, second chairman. I'm like CEO. He's like, I don't know. Yo, I'm handing you my CEO spot when I leave.
Explain what the AUK Council is for those
Okay.
students and teachers who don't know.
Yeah, because I'm assuming no one's gonna have any idea what we're talking about, and they're gonna be frowning and saying, "What is this freak talking about?" But basically, Aki is slang for like jacked, like buff, right? And it's just it's a long story basically. But I made this thing called an Ak, like because I like Dwayne the Rock Johnson. I was a big fan of him freshman year, so I called myself the Ak. Because, it sounds like The Rock, right? And Paterno heard about it, and we all just started, joking around and doing stuff like that. So we gave ourselves Ak name. So Paterno's Ak Senior, for example. I am Ak, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to clarify, it was a self-given nickname.
It was not self. It was like an ironic nickname, if I'm being honest, because I was doing B&G with some alumni, and they couldn't lift the shelf. I was like, "Oh, don't worry, guys, I got it." And I went over and I tried to pick it up, and I couldn't pick it up because it was heavy, and these two guys couldn't pick it up, and so they were like, "Ak, Ak, Ak," and I was like, "Yeah." And so that's kind of what happened. So it's Ak Council. Paterno was, I think, the second Ak.
Nice.
But anywho, let's get right into the podcast. So
okay.
Our themes are kind of talking about like what people have been doing in quarantine, right? And like well, since we and Gabe are going off to college, we kind of wanted to talk about college stuff too.
You want to introduce Paterno first?
Well, I mean, I think everybody knows him. If I'm being honest, Gabe, it'd be hard to not know who Paterno is. But Coach Paterno is a personal trainer at Hackley, very successful man. He's got 2 degrees, right? Am I correct in that? Yes, 2 degrees. Okay, just making sure. I did a little checking up on you. And then
you read your Wikipedia page.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't have your shirt on now, but he also owns a No, is that okay?
Yeah, you should have it on.
I should have it on. I know. He's a very handsome guy. Bottom line, very handsome man. So
only bald man to ever win best hair in high school.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is hysterical. I hope you know. That is like the top 10 like moments in history. Just you winning best hair in high school, and then like 2 years later, just losing all your hair. But
he's
anyway,
read more books than anyone you know.
Yeah, you read the most books of any person I know. Like you are the most, I'd say, strong mentally and physically person I know. But it's the drawback. It's the hair, man. But you look very nice with the hair.
That's the hair. Yeah, can't have everything.
Exactly. But did you start losing your hair in college, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's cool. That's unfortunate. But speaking of college, so so many people know that most college kids are broke, right? It's kind of like, I guess, very well known. So knowing this, do you think it'd be harder for our college kids to stay in shape? And if so, do you have any tips for kids like me and Gabe who are Aki and want to stay physically healthy in college?
It's easier to stay in. You have so much more time in college than you did in high school, to be honest with you. I mean, you go to class for 2 hours a day. you have to study and stuff, but you have much more free time. You can stay up, go to the gyms anytime you want. It's easier in college than it is, I think, in high school to be on a consistent workout routine. The only thing is obviously there's more of a social life in college, but I think that, as far as staying in shape, there's really no reason why not to. And especially if you have like good roommates or good friends that you go to the gym with at school, I think it's really easy to do.
That's awesome. I never thought about it that way. But too, like thinking about like kids not having a lot of like money, they wouldn't be able to say, eat like from like Whole Foods every day is what I mean. They'd have to eat obviously like some garbage food, like ramen all the time.
Yeah, but sometimes you can bring like a little Tupperware to the cafeteria, take some food back from the cafeteria. Depends on, how your school's set up with their food system, everything like that. But for college, honestly, it wasn't that hard for me to work out and everything in college. That's when I really started getting into it. And I think it was a lot easier than maybe any other time in my life. And I'll go there with my roommate, good guy. So we were good friends. We would go there all the time. And my schedule in college, I remember I'd get up, go to 2 classes, come home, take a nap for a couple hours, go to the gym, come back, do homework, go out, whatever I did that night. And it was basically pretty easy to maintain that schedule. And as far as food, yeah, I mean, you obviously got to try and eat well, but there's plenty of stuff options in the cafeteria as long as you're not too picky and stuff. You can get eggs, proteins, anything like that. So.
Yeah, like I'm sure most of the colleges that like Hackley students are attending, their cafeterias will have pretty.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, exactly.
I think the bigger issue might just be like finding the motivation to work out or want to eat healthily.
Yeah, like if you're stressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Well, I think it's like anything. You just want to try and schedule it. So if you kind of schedule yourself and say, I'm going to the gym at whatever times during the days, during, Monday through Thursday, these times I have available. Friday I have off all day, so I can go anytime or whatever. And then maybe once on the weekend or something like that. It's not that hard to do. Just schedule it ahead of time. And once you get into a routine, you guys know the hardest part is getting into a routine. Once you're in a routine, it's easy to keep the ball going. It's just once you get momentum, a little traction behind you, it's easy.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But one thing I was wondering is working out how you would deal with like stress in college? Because obviously there's like exams and like, it's an important time for, I guess, everything in college. So is working out one way you kind of like kept your mind mentally healthy and kind of helped you balance out that stress, or what else?
Oh, definitely. Because in high school, I played sports and everything. So that's one way I never had to worry about schedule. I never worked out actually in high school itself because I was always doing sports. But then when I got to college, I realized I didn't have that outlet. So that really got me into working out. Actually, the summer prior to going to college, I started working because I realized I just had so much time on my hands. I wasn't, as active as I had been other years. I wasn't playing summer league sports or anything like that. So that's what really got me into working out. And I think it definitely is a release of stress, and it's so important for people to do. And, if you guys get in the habit now, like you guys already are, but people get in the habit, they can turn into a lifelong, process rather than waiting. A lot of times I see so many people that are my age and they've never worked out, and now they feel like, oh, I'm out of shape, or I have type 2 diabetes. I better start to work out, or I better start to do this. And, you want to turn it into a lifestyle habit more than anything. And I think that by doing that, like at an early age, like you guys are doing now, going to college, doing it, it'll become part of your life. And every time, like you said, when you're stressed, anything like that, it does. It's a huge relief. It'll make you feel a lot better.
So how would, you said it's easy to sort of maintain a routine once you get the ball rolling, but for someone who hasn't had that like same motivation or maybe hasn't been working out consistently, how would you recommend like starting in college, especially when you might not see results right away, especially with
that's a great question. I mean, and a lot of times you don't see results right away, but one thing I would try and do, if you can, try and find somebody, a buddy or somebody that can, hold you accountable, somebody you can go to the gym with it. And, or if you like to do your own thing, then like I said, just say, listen, I'm going to make myself start to do this. Now, a habit, they say, takes like 60 days to form or whatever. So if you start to schedule, and even if you don't do anything when you go there, meaning like if you just start to show up and do like 10 minutes on the treadmill, after a while, you'll start to be in that habit. And you'll be like, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is a habit that's formed in my life. And so now that once a habit's formed, it's easier to maintain it. So even if like you can't get the motivation, I would say just go schedule. Say, I'm going to go, Monday at 2:00, go to the gym. Even if you hate it there the first time, maybe walk on the treadmill, do anything you can. After that, schedule next time I'm going to go is this time. But after you've been doing it for like 2 or 3 months, which I know sounds like a long time in the beginning, but 2 or 3 months flies by like that. So once you've been doing that over a period of time, if we get like 60 days in, whatever it is to form a habit, then it is part of your life. And then it's easier to keep momentum up when you're doing that. I mean, and I think that people always are intimidated to start something new. Start small, have your own goals, find out what works for you too. Like people think like, oh, you got to do this type of workout, or you got to be that type of workout. it doesn't matter really what type of workout you do as long as you're consistent. There's so many different types of things. If you're into spinning, if you're into, whatever if you're into powerlifting, if you're into Olympic lifting, just be consistent with it and try and set it to a habit. That's my biggest advice.
But obviously you can't do the same exact workout every single time too, because then your body's eventually just going to plateau.
Of course. But it doesn't take, I mean, you need variety, but, for a person that's just starting off a novice, you're going to make gains after a few weeks. Once you start getting the routine, the weight's going to start going up and everything like that. So you will make gains with almost anything that you do at that point in time. But then once you get to a plateau, then you try and reassess it and then go back and reevaluate and change up your workout routine, And like I said, the more you start to do it, once you create a habit, you're going to find out what you like, and then maybe you can take classes on it, or you can, find out different routines, find partners or something like that, and that'll help you get variance too.
You're right. And one thing I think is important, I know you and Lisa can't stress this enough, but that form is super important. So like not caring about weight going up is, or caring about, weight and stuff like that is not important at all. You just need to focus on form. Could you care to elaborate on that a little bit?
Especially when you first start off. I mean, the thing is, people oftentimes are so concerned with what other people are doing in the gym. They think that they're looking at them. Like a lot of people are so worried, like, oh, so-and-so is going to see me. I'm not lifting much weight. Most everybody that goes to the gym is worried about what they're lifting. They're not worried about what the other person's doing. So don't think that you need to lift a certain amount of weight, just because you think people are going to judge you or for ego or anything like that. The ego is going to beat you down. So you want to be in there and start to establish yourself a good base. So you want to build a good base by, doing the right form, doing the right exercises, and start from there. The worst thing you can do is try and jump up too fast. It's better to stay at a weight for a little bit of a while, get really good at that, then move up slowly with it. Because every day, if you start to build, what I'm saying, if you start to make like progress by 2 or 3 pounds every year, 10 years down the road, that's a huge difference. Don't think I got to, put 25 pounds up more in my bench by next month. Be consistent with it, be slow with it, get your form down, and results will come.
So earlier you did mention, thank you for all this too. Some of this stuff is new to me too, and this is awesome to hear. But so you talked about lifestyle, and me and Gabe were actually having this conversation the other day, and we thought it would be wise to ask, you about this. So what is the difference between lifestyle and dieting? Is lifestyle more of getting into the habit? And if so, is it easier to change one or the other?
All right, well,
that's an interesting question. Yeah, I mean, I think that's all diet is, I would think, is basically your lifestyle, the way you eat, the way you exercise, all that stuff comes into it. So, I mean, diet is just one aspect of your lifestyle. But, lifestyle encompasses every other thing going on too. But as far as the diet, that's a great point, meaning like you don't want to sit there and say like, oh, I'm going to go on this diet for this month, or this month I'm going to do this. I need to lose this amount of weight, whatever. I think it is consistency, just like with working out, with anything you do. Find what works for you, eat healthy, be smart with it, and that's the best way to go about it. But that's a good question.
Right. Like the reason it actually came up in Sean and I's conversation is because I sort of mentioned how I didn't really like the word dieting, or I wasn't a fan of like that.
Yeah, it's intimidating to a lot of people. A lot of people don't like it, and it means so many different things to so many different people too. And there's so many out there. There's so many just ridiculous plans out there. But a lot of it is just, a lot of times people, we know what to do, and just it's good to get reminders from people that that specialize in it. But a lot of times we know, just about what's healthy and what's not. You know what I mean? I think sometimes we read into it too much and we overanalyze what we're doing.
Right. And then at the same time, like the whole, like the word diet, I think of as sort of like a temporary thing. So if you don't eat very well and then you say, I'm going on a vegan diet or a ketogenic diet or whatnot, and then for like 1 month, and then you go back to your original eating habits. That was my sort of issue with.
That's excellent point. Yeah, it's the same. So that's what you're saying about the lifestyle. It's true. You want to adopt something that you can do something on it, for a long period of time, forever. Not something that, a crash diet or anything like that will get into. Same thing with working out. You don't want to look at working out like, oh, next month I got to get in shape. And then once you hit like your goals of doing, say, 100 push-ups, you're like, okay, I'm done for now. And then you get out of shape again. It's better to be consistent with everything over the long term.
Right.
I have a question for you, actually. I've always been kind of confused by this term. What is the crash diet?
Oh, so people just try to lose extreme in a short period of time.
Which is just obviously, yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be like a severe caloric restriction, or even anything else. If you read about some other type of diet, just consuming X amount of calories from one source because you think that's going to be beneficial. But yeah, it's usually has to do a caloric restriction though.
Okay, because I think I think I might have done that in a, I guess, smaller sense during the track. Because obviously before meet, when you're running, if you have more weight, you're obviously going to be a little bit, I guess, slower, right? I don't remember the physics formula for speed, but you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
I think it was like, like Gabe, okay, okay, whatever. But it was like day before the meet and day of the meet, I would eat less than I usually would, just to kind of, I guess, get my body used to. I don't know how to describe it, but it would kind of make me, I guess, feel lighter, and it would make me feel as full, and as a result, I kind of, I guess, run faster, and I wouldn't feel as restricted as I usually would when I would.
Well, that wouldn't be a crash because you're just doing that for a day or for the meet or whatever. That's not crash. Would be something you did for like a month at a time or something. Because I mean, even your calories are going to vary from day to day usually, unless you're super consistent counting macros and stuff like that. So that wouldn't really be a crash diet. That would just be one day. Listen, I got to meet tomorrow, so I'm not going to eat as heavy the day before. That makes sense actually. That's not a crazy thing to do.
Well, thank you. I feel a lot better about myself now. But this is kind of, I guess, a personal question too, but it's also a question for people that would be interested. So, what is the best time to eat for people trying to make better choices? So, if like, you're trying to change up your lifestyle, like, for example, if you work out in the morning, let's just say you work out at 11 and you wake up at, I don't know, 8. Should you eat a bigger breakfast compared to
No, because that's not really that much time to digest. I would eat something small and then consume more calories after the workout's complete.
So bigger post-workout, what you're saying, type
Yeah.
thing. But it's all dependent. I feel like the eating nowadays, or it always has been, but eating now is kind of a lot more dependent on when you plan to work out than it
That's a good
is
point, yeah.
like,
Yeah, and how intense the workout's going to be too. I mean, if you're going to go for a long walk, that's different than if you're going to be doing, a super high intense, class or something like that. So you got to kind of, figure out what you're working out and, your age, your weight, everything like that. So there's a lot of components that go into it.
Yeah, exactly. And you obviously don't want to just, like if you're going to go for like you said, like you're just going for a jog or like, running 2 miles or something as fast as you can, you probably don't want to eat a big breakfast. And if you're lifting weights, you probably want to get a lot of carbs in. But that was my next question. If somebody were, depending on when someone works out, should they eat a certain amount of protein and carbs at different times?
Yeah, I mean, they are, but that's kind of like out of my, wheelhouse right there. I'm not a nutritionist person. I would go to somebody that's, that's what their focus is on nutrition. Ask, because it's going to, like I said, it's going to vary. It's going to depend on your age, your sex, your activity level, your training age, how long you've been working out for, things like that, and what else you do throughout the day. So if you really want to get that specific, I would talk to somebody that, knows you and knows your routine, everything like that. And also your goals too, whether your goal is to put on muscle, your goal is to lose weight. So I would definitely, talk to somebody that's their expertise.
It's all dependent. Yeah, it's all dependent.
Yes,
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So this is also an important question, I feel like, because I mean, for just everybody that would be listening in, all 5 people that are going to listen to these, what is one thing about lifting and fitness that most people don't know, like a secret? And if you can't think of any, what do you think the most important thing about lifting and fitness is? I think we might have covered this already, but just anything else you have to add to that?
One thing that is interesting, a lot of people, that is competing with yourself and something that motivates yourself. I think that one reason I really like working out is because it's something that I can be in control of. And, it gives you confidence when you go in there and, like, listen, I have the discipline to do this. I can focus on whatever I'm doing here for X amount of time. It gives you confidence outside of the realm of working out. I think it has a bigger carryover than a lot of people think. And I feel like I'm really good at managing my time because of working out. If I didn't work out, I don't think I'd be very good at managing my time. I think that working out and training has made me very disciplined in all other aspects of my life. And before I was on a training regimen, then I wasn't that disciplined.
Huh. I think that's the same for a lot of people as well, because working out, I guess, organizes your day in a way that most other things wouldn't do, besides from like school and whatever. But
yeah, and that's one thing. Well, you were saying about college. That's one thing you're gonna have to get down, because you can also waste a ton of time in college because you're gonna have so much more time on your hands than you were ever, used to prior to this. Especially if you're not playing a sport or anything in college. I mean, there's gonna be so much extra time, and it can, one or two things can happen. You can really, put in a positive direction, or you can just, waste it away. I mean, not that's wasting just hanging out with your buddies at school, but a lot of times you could be getting more done than you do in college too. So that's something to keep in mind.
Is that something that when you were in college, do you personally think that you wasted time and you wish you could obviously change that?
Oh yeah, I mean, of course, yeah, of course, I wasted time, but it's also times there was enjoyments just hanging out with friends and stuff. But yeah, I think that it was a process for me. It took a lot longer to learn how to manage my time and be more efficient with it, and that didn't come till probably I was getting out of college. I started working out, getting that part of it down, but the carryover took a little while till probably after I got out of college, I started to become more disciplined in other aspects of my life too.
So
I know
the
what you
bottom
mean,
line
but
is that it takes time.
Yes.
speaking of time management, so this is actually a question that I've been wondering myself for a while. Do you think that this whole quarantine situation, is allowing people to be able to manage their time better or worse?
That's a great question. I mean, it probably affects different people differently. For me, I know personally I had to get on schedule because the first 2 weeks were the hardest part because I didn't know what to expect, and it was super stressful. Like I was, there's, I was like, I don't know what's going to happen in the future with work, with this, that, with the other thing. And so the first 2 weeks I was kind of wasting time, floating around, not knowing what to do. And then I started to get on a schedule. Once I got on a schedule, it's been actually a lot easier, which I think will become more difficult the longer we're in quarantine. But for me personally, I get up every morning. I train my wife first. She works out here in the room. Then I go make her breakfast. Then I study either business book, a real estate book, or workout book for a couple hours. Then I have some people online, and then I go work out. And then I come home and I do some more reading or studying or anything like that. And then I'll make my wife lunch. And then by the end of the day, we watch a TV show or two together, and that's it. So once I got on the schedule, it made things so much easier for me. And the stress, I didn't sit there and think about, the unknown. Cause I think that was the biggest scare for me. And there's a lot still that is unknown, but I think once I got into this, routine and stuff, it took a lot of stress out of my life.
That's awesome, actually. And I was sort of wondering, so I know you're a big fan of movies, right? As most people are, but like, I don't know many people that reference movies as much as you do. So I was wondering, for you specifically, what would you say your favorite movie that you've watched in quarantine is, and what other people need to watch as well? And they can be different movies.
Oh, well, I haven't watched really that many movies because we've been focusing. I started Ray Donovan over. Do you know that series? On
What
Not
about
Showtime.
no.
just all time, not over quarantine, but just in
So
general?
favorite movies. Well, I love documentaries. Let me try. I mean, what genre are we talking about here?
Any, man. You can
I think,
choose any movie you want.
It's most essential for a Hackley student to get most of your references. What movie?
Oh, I don't know this.
Yeah, no, never mind, Gabe. You're going into uncharted waters here.
If I want just to relax and watch something funny, it'd probably be like My Cousin Vinny. I would watch. If I wanted an action movie, probably Apocalypto. I'd probably watch. If I want something that to move feelings or anything, maybe Sideways would be one of my favorites to watch. Little Miss Sunshine is one of my favorites to watch. So I have a lot of different ones, and also documentaries I love to watch.
Everybody loves documentaries, and I'm gonna tell you, I saw an old movie. I saw Escape from New York recently. It's an incredible movie. Yeah, it's awesome, dude. It's just he's such a cool guy.
So I just DVR'd an old Kurt Russell movie yesterday, which I've never seen. It's something that I can't believe I never saw. It's Tango and Cash. I'm going to watch that tonight, I think. Which Stallone and Kurt Russell. It's like I can't believe I've never saw this movie.
That's so much testosterone in just like one movie. That's awesome. Okay, and then another thing that I was wondering about quarantine is that I've talked to some people and they said that me and my community of big men that we all hang out and lift, right? So a bunch of them have been doing 2-a-day workouts. So I was wondering on your opinion about what the difference between 2-a-day workouts are and 1-a-day workouts, and if one wants to make the transition into doing 2-a-days or 1-a-days, what they should do, or basically, yeah.
My advice would be if you're going to do 2-a-days, I would keep the workout short and intense for 2-a-days right there. Don't go, I wouldn't be doing long workouts like, an hour and a half workout, then later on go back to an hour and a half workout. I think you get to take advantage of your energy first. I mean, I just read an article the other day on T Nation about doing multiple rounds of kettlebell swings, 12 12-minute workouts at a time, and they were talking about the benefits it has for natural production of HGH and also testosterone levels. And they were saying if you spread them out throughout the day, it's been shown to show better results. So you would do like one 12-minute one, and then 4 hours later, like another one, and then maybe later on in the day, do one more. And so it's a different type of workout that you're going to get. You know, I mean, I wouldn't be doing, I know bodybuilders and stuff sometimes do 2 days, but I think if you're doing heavy lifting and trying to put on size doing multiple days, then you get into the whole thing of how much more calories you got to eat and the soreness aspect and stuff. So if you're going to do multiple times a day, my advice would be do the short, you know, HIIT workouts and do those multiple times a day, or do a workout like a bodybuilding routine and then later on do one HIIT workout. I wouldn't do multiple bodybuilding heavy weights routines throughout the day.
Gotcha. And would you recommend doing, like, you know, you have the first half of the day you do legs, second half you do arms, or vice versa?
Well, it depends. If you're doing like a HIIT routine, you could do full body both times of the day or whatever you want to do for that day. But like I said, if I was doing a bodybuilding routine, I wouldn't do multiple times a day because it's going to be so much breakdown of your body and you're going to be so tired and you're not going to really give yourself enough time to recover, I don't think.
Okay, so it just really depends on what you're doing.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. So one thing that we plan to ask people on this podcast is, what is the first place you will visit in quarantine besides a barber shop?
What is the first place you'll visit?
When quarantine is over, I forgot the most important part of the question.
That's so funny because I was talking about this with my wife the other day. I actually want to go to I don't want to go. I don't want to be the person who texts the water. So when everybody's been going back for a while, then I'll go back. But I really want to go to the Alamo movie theater, and also I want to go out to eat at this place in Mediterranean in Pleasantville. So those are 2 things I've been thinking about that I want to do. Okay,
so all your family members are just suffering in silence right now. They're like, oh, Sam doesn't want to see me.
I talk to my mom almost every day, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, me too. I live with mine. But, yeah, that makes sense. I think that's probably one of the most common things that people are going to be doing because, you know, it's just like watching movies from, you know, your house or watching them on your phone. It just gets dull at a certain point. And I feel like going back to the movie theater, like I was planning right when quarantine was over, was going to White Plains City Center and trying to catch a movie there. I don't care if there's nothing good out. I just want to sit down in a movie theater and enjoy myself.
Exactly. No, I agree with that.
With you.
Yeah. What's that, Gabe?
I said he's got to bring his Clorox wipes with him. You got to wipe down the chair.
Did you know I don't have a mask?
You don't have a mask?
Well, I wear this. It's people give me dirty looks, but I wear this.
Okay.
So I walked into CVS the other day. I think the lady thought I was gonna rob it because I walked in like this, and everyone just kind of went. Also, my gloves are. Well, I'll show you them. These are the gloves I use when people ask me to put on gloves. My baseball gloves.
Ah.
So nothing I use is really sanitary, but it gets the job done.
Interesting quarantine out.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably for the best I don't go out. I'm just like the worst person. But people avoid me, so you know. I mean, people didn't avoid me. Well, you know.
Let me ask you guys a question. What's been the most difficult part for you guys, like being seniors in high school? Like, what do you think the most difficult thing to miss out on has been?
I have
a squeaky chair.
For me, it was definitely missing my exchange trip. I was supposed to be in Australia now, remember? And interviewing you was a good consolation prize for a senior project. But Australia takes the cake on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that does suck.
What about you, Ak?
It's just super lame, but it's probably just seeing everyone, you know, because senior year is supposed to be senior year is supposed to be, you know, like the king, you know, we're all kings and queens this year, right? Well, not like that, but you know what I mean. We're like on the top of the food chain for high school. I know, Gabe. Just stop laughing at my dumb analogies. But we're, you know what I mean. It's like our year, and it does suck that it got cut short. But you can't really do anything about it. And I don't like Gabe said, talking with you, greatest consolation there ever was. But one thing I am sad about though is I can't work because no matter how many times I joke about working in a coffee shop and how people, I do that a lot. I talk about it, but I really do miss working there because, obviously I get money for working, but it was also nice too because I got to see a lot of people.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Definitely.
No, same here. I don't know if I think you guys know, but I work at a sleepaway camp over the summer, and it's not looking good right now. That's been frustrating for me. That was like sort of the only thing I had lined up this summer.
Are you guys missing baseball?
Oh yeah, for sure. And that goes into part of like seeing everyone, I think because everyone, this is very arguable, but one of the best parts of baseball is the Florida trip that we go on. It's so fun. You get to bond with everyone, and you're not in New York, you're in sunny Port St. Lucie, and it's just so fun, because you get to live with everyone else in the team. But that getting cut really just, I think, took morale out of the team and me personally, and just the season getting canceled. I think it was canceled the day before we got out of school. Was just horrible. But you can't really do anything about it at this point now, and we're all still stay in touch. But it just really sucks that our season ended this way.
Yeah. I mean, that's difficult. What about you, Gabe?
Oh, for
baseball.
For baseball, I think like sort of the routine and like schedule of practice was pretty nice, especially since at home I don't have much structure like in my everyday life. So I think missing practice is definitely like I didn't sort of love the whole like routine of actually practicing, but just sort of having that in my schedule, then going to lift after, that was nice.
He liked practice because he would actually play, not in the games. No, but he is right though. Lifting was probably like a highlight of my day. Every single day that me and Gabe would go and just lift, because it would be everyone. We have Flan there. We'd have occasionally we'd have the teachers for CrossFit. We'd have Lisa always in there. I'd always see Ogden in there. I'd always see you in there. I'd see the whole gang, And sometimes exactly. Sometimes you see alumni that come back, and it'd be great if I saw like Jack Nisley or Jason or Jimmy. That'd be awesome to see him. And that was always just yeah, exactly. Cliff and Jordan too. Seeing it, I see them less often though, fortunately. But yeah, it would be awesome to see that. But just the quarantine thing really hit that part hard. And my mom, I think Hackley is saying there might resume physical classes. What I've heard, where the street is in June. That's what people were talking about. And I told my mom, I said, I will go back with you for one day if they open the weight room. But I don't know. No one knows anything at this point, and it just sucks. But like I said, you can't really do anything about it. The only thing you can really do is just sit at home and wait and not go out coughing on people.
Patierno, I have a couple questions for you, like on a sort of different subject. Sean and I, one thing that we wanted to focus on in our podcast is like some of the faculty at Hackley and their college experiences, because I think a lot of the students don't know so much about how your college process or your college experience went. So I think you've told me you went to the Harvard of Rhode Island, right?
Of Newport, Rhode Island, yes. Yes, it's known as the Harvard of Newport, Rhode Island. Yes, Salve Regina.
So like, how did your whole college process go for you? And
oh, that was easy. So I applied to 3 schools, got into one, and then that's where I went.
And you were happy with that?
I was very happy. Yeah, I mean, I was lucky. I got a good. So my freshman year was weird because I was stuck in a room. There were these old mansions that you had, so these humongous rooms. So there was 5 people in there, and basically it was like the land of misfit toys. So the 4 other people I roomed with, they were all upperclassmen that nobody wanted to room with for some reason. They weren't like freshmen, like usually they stick freshmen. But one of the guys, so 3 of them actually got kicked out at different points. But one of the guys I became good friends with, and we roomed the next couple of years together and stuff. So it was great, yeah. And I'm still friends with him today. So I had a really good experience in college. That was at Salve. That's where I majored in modern European history, and also I did some plays. I was in like 8 or 9 plays or something like that. I don't remember how many plays.
You were an actor?
Yeah, I did theater and stuff too. Yeah.
I never knew that.
I never knew that either.
That's awesome. It makes so much sense now. Oh my gosh. I would never have guessed that, dude. Wait, who did you play? Were you Peter Pan and Peter Pan?
He was Tinkerbell.
He was Tinkerbell.
Most muscly Tinkerbell of all time.
No, I was in a bunch of shows. So yeah, it was good. I was the only one like that wasn't a theater major or minor that had done all like that would be doing all the shows and stuff too. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome, actually, though. So you were just like, you were the one that only. That's actually so cool. You're the only person that wasn't majoring in it, but you were still doing it because you were so interested in it.
Yes. Yes. I thought it'd be a good way to meet girls. That didn't work out that part of it, but it was
so.
Besides stardom.
Yeah, because I was wondering, you're always a character, and I was like, that's got to come from somewhere. Very energetic too, but that's a compliment, by the way, not like an insult.
Thanks.
Some people take that the wrong way. You're very welcome, sir. So some people are, we kind of, I think, touched on this a little bit, but some people are very regretful of what they did in college. If you could change anything besides just like we said, wasting time, would you change anything from college?
Well, no, I mean, that's interesting because the first degree I never used. I went back right away and I got a degree in exercise sports science. So I guess you could say, the first college, but then I wouldn't have all the experiences I had with doing theater, doing shows. I met, so many good friends there. So I don't really have any regrets in college. I mean, it's a good question. I don't really think I do, because I think that, there was mostly positive experiences after positive experience. So I really enjoyed myself. I liked where I went. I mean, like I said, it wasn't really an option. It kind of ended up there, but I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of good people I met. So I don't have any big regrets now at all.
So
That's cool.
Did you know what you wanted to do going into college?
No, see, that's the only negative thing. So I went to college. I had no idea when I graduated high school. I was just so lost at that point. So that's why I think that I majored in history because it came easy for me compared to most subjects. So that's the only reason I did that. And I had some good professors. So that kept me, focusing on that. But, I think sometimes it's tough for people to decide when they're 20 years old, 18, 19 years old, what they want to do the rest of their lives with majors and stuff. And for me, it really was. So I really didn't have an idea until probably I was getting out of college. So I got out of college. I graduated in December. I had to do an extra semester. And then that year, my friend and I had met a friend when I studied abroad in London. So my friend and I went to China. We traveled for China, and then we taught English for a month over in China. And during that time is kind of when I started thinking about what I wanted to do in my life. And so I decided when I got back, I was going to start trying to take classes in exercise and sports science. So it was kind of almost like I needed like a reflective period to come up with this. So I didn't know when I was 18, 19, 21 years old. It took me, probably till I was like 22 or so to really figure out what I wanted to do.
So then what do you think like really helped you like focus that interest? Like what led you to realize that exercise and that sort of stuff was
well, because one of the biggest reasons is I just know I can't sit still for long periods of time. And honestly, I knew like I can't be at a desk job. I can't be doing something where I got to focus at a computer. I just know my personality. I just wouldn't match up with that. So I was like, I have to do something that I can physically be active and move around a lot. And that kind of, and I liked working out and I like people and I get along with people. So I thought, that's pretty good thing to get into, and something if you're interested in it, I think you'll be successful in it too. So it's helped me out.
I mean, that just makes sense. It's like a match made in heaven, in all honesty. I could see you on Broadway, though.
I guess the one thing that I didn't like though is, well, two things. The week before the show, I always got sick because I guess nerves, but also there's a lot of standing around in between. Like there's so much standing around in theater, like between things going on and stuff. And sometimes that was a bit of a drag, you know what I mean? During rehearsals or anything like that, or they work on things. But no, it was a good experience though.
So something you'd recommend?
Yes. Oh, definitely. Because I mean, everybody hates getting up. Well, most people hate getting up in front of people, and it kind of breaks you out of your comfort zone. I mean, it wasn't like I was good at it doing it, but it was something that I think helped me as a person, to get up in front of people. Because I'm pretty good talking to people one-on-one. I feel comfortable with that, but it's tough to stand up in front of a group and present or do something else. It's totally different. So it forced me to totally break away because that's not something I never did in high school. You know, I only played sports or anything like that. So that's another thing for college. It's a time to experiment with other things you've never thought you would do. And I think that's something that you should really try to do. Do something that might breaks out of your comfort zone. Take some risks because you never have an opportunity like that again.
I might just play now.
Yeah, exactly.
Sean, I'll do it if you do it.
Hey man, I already did Coffee House. I'm done.
Oh, that's true.
But I was gonna say, me and Connor doing Coffee House. I think I told Connor, I said this is one of the hardest things I've ever done because it's so nerve wracking.
Coffee House is like for people who don't go, or like
yeah,
what you
basically what me and Connor had to do. Who hopefully we're gonna try and get Connor on the podcast. He doesn't know yet, but we hope to get him on.
How's he been, by the way? Have you spoken to him?
Yeah, he's doing pretty good, but this is a podcast about you, not him, all right? So let's just keep the questions grounded. No, he's doing really good. But I think so. Basically, what we had to do is we had to prepare like material, which we actually prepared, I think, like half an hour before the show. So that wasn't very smart. We also had to make
hosting it.
We were hosting it, yeah. So we had to
clarify.
we had to like keep the acts going and stuff like that. And you know, the show obviously wasn't about us, but we were kind of just up there facilitating it. But it was just so hard because we weren't when you're up there, people kind of expect you to be funny most of the time. And while I am a pretty funny guy, right? You know, it's sort of hard when you have to be funny on command like that, where people expect you to get up there and be funny. And so it was sort of difficult in that respect. But it was very rewarding. And like you said, it's all about getting out of your comfort zone. I don't remember who said it, but there's a famous quote where it says, you can only grow by going out of your comfort zone. Fear is what, you know, keeps people, you know, grounded and deep, doesn't let them evolve and grow.
Oh, he muted himself.
No, I think your phone microphone isn't working too well.
Who, mine?
Yeah, we couldn't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I might have been, my hand might have been in the way. No, I think you're 100% right. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, you're good. Sorry.
I think you're 100% right because it gives you more confidence to try other things. So once you start kind of breaking down those walls, I mean, and like example, like once I did theater, I was like, okay, I don't mind being in front of people as much, and you know, you don't mind like example because in school I have to present in front of teams and things like that. I mean, if I hadn't done theater, maybe I wouldn't have felt comfortable doing those things. You know, I mean, I think that, or it would have taken me longer to feel comfortable doing those things. So it's definitely something you want to do, and the more experiences you can have in life, I think it's going to build a better base for you.
I agree with that completely. But if you don't mind us going back to European history, I was very interested about that because you said you're laughing, but you said it was kind of a waste of time. Not waste, but like it wasn't really for you. I guess I'm trying to sum that up. But how did you get interested in that?
I just never utilized it. But education isn't a waste. So that's not what I meant by that. What I was saying, like if I had just known early what I wanted to do, I could have gone right out of high school to major in exercise and sports science, so during that period of time, it was just kind of me trying to figure things out.
I gotcha. And history is a safe way. It's very safe to go that way. But I was very curious. So why did you end up choosing it besides it being safe? Were you always interested in history, like when you were in? Because I remember you said it kind of came easy to you. But was that because you were really interested in it, or because you just naturally a smart man?
No, not necessarily. I mean, just it's just easy to at the time. It was easier to remember the things. Because example, it wasn't going to be math. I was horrible at math. It wasn't going to be some sort of English. I wasn't a good writer, so it wasn't going to be that. But for history, I had a good memory, or I have a good memory, so I could remember those things. And I had really good professors, so that really encouraged me to do it. So that's basically the biggest reason why. So I really enjoyed taking classes, so I'd just keep signing up for the same people for classes and learn a lot from them. So that's basically the biggest reason.
Makes sense. And did you read a lot of history books when you were younger? And also, did you read a lot when you were younger? Because
No. I had a lot of problems reading when I was younger, so I never read at all when I was younger. Like I had difficulty reading, dyslexia and everything. So it wasn't something that came easy. So I didn't really start reading until probably sophomore year of college was when I really started to enjoy reading. But before that, I hated it.
Yeah, because every time I don't see you with a barbell in your hand or a dumbbell, I see you with a book in your hand.
Book.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things too, because I know that I had difficulty in it. So it's one of those things I just want to keep practicing it too. And I do like to learn, but I think with reading is something that I just, because I wasn't good at it, I think I just wanted to force myself to keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it.
That makes sense too. And you gotta get in there. It's the same as lifting, I would say too, right? You have to get into a routine of reading and stuff like that.
Of course, 100%. Yeah.
It's all about too, I think, enjoying. Like, you know, if you hate lifting and you do it, it's like it's good for you, right? So whatever. But I feel like more so for reading, if you're really interested in the book or you're enjoying the book, it's a lot easier to get into it as well.
Yeah, but I think anything is a habit. So once you start to do a habit, I think you start to oftentimes enjoy any of those habits because it becomes rewarding when you're doing something like that. And you know it's for positive, something you're getting positive out of it. So that is encouraging to do that. Same with lifting. So it's like the hardest part with anything, I think, is starting something new. But once you've been doing it for a little while, it's easy to do and you look forward to doing it. And having that, you know, people like having a routine. People like having things that are dependable. It's like, and even being dependable on yourself, like meaning like, okay, well, I know I'm going to read X amount this year or today, and I'm going to work out X amount. I think that's comforting to some people, especially to me.
No, I agree with that. So one thing that I really wanted to ask this question, but I was saving it to a time when you were warmed up, and I think you're sufficiently warmed up now. What sparked your love of the Beastie Boys?
I don't know if I had a love of Beastie Boys. I think it was just that song.
Just Sabotage? It's just Sabotage. You were like, yo, dude, put on the Beastie Boys. They're great. And you like one song. That's like me with Backstreet Boys. Like, Backstreet Boys, greatest band. Name 3 songs. I can't name more than 3 songs of theirs.
Well, I can name more than 3 songs. But yeah, it's not like I was a huge fan. That's funny, though.
I feel so defeated right now. I'm gonna be honest, Patierno, because every time I went to the weight room, I would be like, okay, guys, I have music on my phone. Play whatever you want. You'd say Beastie Boys, and I never connected the dots that you'd say Beastie Boys, and then the same exact song of the Beastie Boys.
I was just hoping that Sabotage would come up.
It would. That's the worst part. It would because I listened to it once. So it was like you listen to this once, but you like listening again, and that's like the YouTube algorithm. And you're like, yeah, that one. I like that one. Right, so have you also too? Have you been doing anything unique over quarantine, like different than you usually would? Obviously, you're doing things differently because it's quarantine. But anything that you wouldn't usually do?
Anything that I wouldn't usually do. Well, I get up in the morning now. I train my wife. I usually wasn't doing that before, but I would get up and train other people. So nothing's really changed about my life. I was actually talking to this about Flanagan. Like, it's more of like, most of it isn't bad for me personally. Is like, but I do miss, interacting with people and like that and working on the gym. But as far as certain things in my life haven't really changed that much. That's why I made sure to get like on a schedule, because it really hasn't been that different for me. Obviously, I see a lot less people, but as far as like the things that keep me motivated, the things I focus on, they've been pretty much the same. The stress level's been different because, I hate going outside and seeing people like in masks and stuff. That's kind of upsetting and stuff. But like everything else has been pretty much the same in my life. I'm trying to keep it that way too. I don't want it to be too disruptive.
But I think too, to add to your point, that living in this day and age of where just everyone constant technology basically, and everyone has like a phone right next to them and stuff like that. I think being at home in quarantine doesn't really change too much life. Obviously, from like driving to the Hackley weight room and just helping out the kids there, that's different. But I feel like everyone is there goes Gabe. Everyone is just kind of, I guess, doing the same exact thing. And there's much people have been talking about that, how they're saying like, wait, quarantine is going on? What do you mean? I've been doing the same exact thing. And it's sort of true, in all honesty.
Yeah, it is. And I've been trying to limit my intake of news because that's obviously it's kind of depressing when you hear that. So everything else has been like the same. Like I said, I see people less, but my thing is, I feel like give myself certain goals. So certain goals that I gave myself after the second week. And I said, if I don't come out of this quarantine a little bit better as far as financial knowledge, business knowledge, or certain things I want to get better at. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, somebody did. Then that's on me. So I felt like it was an opportunity for me to work on things that I want to work on. So there's other things I've been studying every day and trying to get done. So I'm like, I have an opportunity right now where maybe I didn't have that opportunity while I was at work every day. So I'm gonna try and take advantage of those opportunities while I can.
I got you. So it's more like free time for you to, I guess, better yourself at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the funnest free time ever, but it's like you gotta try and make the most of the situation.
Patierno, you should get into video games. I could see you as a gamer.
Oh no, I'm horrible. I'm so bad.
I was thinking of doing so for senior projects, obviously the podcast is our senior project, but they sort of opened it up to really whatever you want to do. So I was gonna see how much leeway Hackley gives us with saying I wanted to prestige on Call of Duty as my senior project and just grind out 40 hours of Call of Duty over the month and see how they react to that.
How'd you guys go on the podcast?
My mom actually.
Yeah.
Funny enough, Mrs. Ford.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, we were just thinking about senior projects, and I was planning on doing mine. Originally, I was gonna try and set up I guess times where I could just hang out in the Hackley kitchen with Flick and see how they cook, because I'm interested in cooking, and I love cooking, and it's just great to me. It's fun too, but yeah. And then I emailed someone. I love the guy. He's a really nice guy. But this was when the whole coronavirus thing was really starting, which I want to avoid talking about coronavirus because I think Gabe and I agree we don't like politics. We don't want politics in our podcast. You know what I mean? I don't think we said that yet, but that's one of the things. Anyways, Patierno, who did you vote for?
It's just like
I'm kidding. But yeah. So I was talking to someone in the Flip Kitchen about that, and it's just the whole thing happened, and now we couldn't really. And Gabe, what were you supposed to do? You were supposed to go to Australia for an exchange.
Yeah, right. So I wasn't even thinking about a senior project because I had that lined up for year and a half or so,
and you're gonna go live with your buddy? What's his name?
Thomas.
Yeah.
Thomas.
Sort of last minute it collapsed, so now Sean and I sort of put this together.
That is a bummer.
Yeah, but the podcast is nice. It lets us connect with people that we haven't seen in a while. I haven't seen you since Tuesday? Tuesday the day Hackley closed.
Wow. Yeah, I guess so.
You like the beard?
I do like it.
Everyone's been commenting on the beard, and I love it. Are you planning on growing out the beard?
No.
This is.
He doesn't change his look, Sean.
That's true. Yeah. No, this is really not great podcast questions. But Gabe, are you growing out your beard?
No. I mean, for a little, it was something. I was just I was not shaving because I wasn't seeing anybody in real life, and I felt no need to do it. But it gets uncomfortable, I guess.
I know what you mean. But sir, this is a legitimate thing. So do you feel fortunate, and this is not me trying to be mean or anything, but do you feel fortunate that since you're bald, that you don't have to worry about hair? Because if you look at mine, my dad, he offered to, buzz my hair, but as you can see,
the bandana off.
I know the bandana was to hide this just mess.
No, I don't feel fortunate at all for being bald.
Okay, I'm sorry for asking that question then. Yeah, the bandana was there to hide everything up there, but it's out. Now everyone knows my secret. But, yeah, that's... I don't know.
Sean, do you have any more questions?
No, I think that's about it. Do you have any more questions for us since you...
Do I have a question? Yeah, what have you been doing for your time on a daily basis?
Oh, okay. I guess the roles have been switched now. I personally have just been doing the same exact stuff. I think that, well, I don't train my wife. I don't have a wife, but I do just similar things to what you do. I get up in the morning. Well, I also have school too, but I get up, I make myself breakfast, I go, I work out, I study, I do my studying for AP Stats, which is coming up soon, and then Gabe and I work on the podcast for a while every day. And then, I don't know, I just eat dinner, and then I guess free time, video games. There's not really much anything else to do, if I'm being honest. And then I just go to bed and repeat. It's very simple life, but...
And what do you do, Gabe?
Pretty much the same stuff. I do the homework that I still have to do for calculus, but that's coming to an end. I've been playing guitar more.
Oh, nice.
Exercising more. I've been like sort of going on walks around my street just because there's nothing else to do, and I like being outside. Walk my dog a lot. I think he hasn't got this much attention in so long.
What's your dog's name?
Fausto, but I call him Fatso. That's why
Don't leak the Zoom password, Gabe. Don't leak the Zoom password.
Do you guys want to say hi to my wife on the podcast?
Oh, sure. Make it official.
Tell her she's gonna be famous though. Is she ready for fame?
You're on the podcast.
The best part is that's just so accurate to what happens in the weight room. You call her, and then she'll be like, "Hi, Sam," and you'll be like, "Look, it's the Ox." She'll be like, "Hi, Ox." You'll be like, "All right, stop calling me, bye," and then you'll just hang up on her.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for the interview today.
Thank you.
Thank
This
you
is
for
fun,
coming.
man. Yeah, this is awesome. Should we want virtual Ock handshake? Virtual Ock handshake?
Oh, true.
Great, that was terrible. Thank you for coming, Patierno.
Okay, boys. I'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Yeah.
You want to end the recording?
Yeah.